This week on CountryMusicJunkies.com, we have an artist, folk country singer and songwriter, Lori McKenna. I'm thrilled to have you on the line. This is great. I am a huge fan of your music and of your work, and I appreciate you speaking with us today.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, how are you? How's everything going?
Everything's good. It's been a little bit busy, but that's good. I try to keep February not so busy because of, February usually isn't the greatest month to travel, but it seems like it's been busy this February, but it's all good. It's all good, so.
Well, that's good. Now, we are, of course, talking today about your 6th album and the release of that. The album is entitled Lorraine. Can you tell us about that and what we can expect to hear in that album?
Sure. It's really a personal record, sort of an emotional, a bit of an emotional record. It's the title track, Lorraine, is about my mom who passed away when I was little, and that once we figured out that was going to be the title track of the record, it sort of made sense that all the other songs sort of had to anchor themselves to that song, and it ended up being. It's very emotional, the record, and it's very sort of personal. Probably the most personal record I've made so far.
Wow. Okay, so you've talked about the title track of the album. Are there any other songs that you want to talk about specifically that maybe really are near and dear to you?
Well, really, the whole. In some way or another, the whole record kind of is near and dear to me. The last track is a song called "Still Down Here" that I wrote with my friend Barry Dean, and it was written for my sister-in-law Nancy, who passed away about a year before we made the record, and she did the photos for the record and was a big part of my career. She was a photographer, and she had cancer. We lost her, and we sort of wrote that song for her and for my family about Nancy. So there's a bit of some darkness on the record in that way because I had lost my mom when I was little, and that's sort of where the title track came from. But there's also your domestic songs and your marriage songs and all those other things that kind of pull everything together, I think. There's a song on there called "Buy This Town" that is my love letter to the town I live in,
and nice.
And there's kind of everything on there as far as me, as far as my life and where I'm at in my world. There's a little bit of everything on there. And
what about the sound of the record? Is it going to be primarily kind of the slow folk country? Is there anything upbeat on it? What can we expect just to hear, I guess?
Yeah, there's really only one rocker on there. There's a song called "American Revolver" on there that sort of ended up being a rocker. There's a light song called "You Get a Love Song," which kind of moves a little bit. But other than that, it's pretty ballady. As a writer, I'm pretty much a ballad girl. Those are the songs that I'm drawn to, and the songs that sort of come out of me the most are ballads. And when we went to make the record, I didn't have a label telling me what to do, or management, or sort of anybody. And the creative control over the record was just it was between me and my producer Barry Dean. And I just think at my age and I've made enough records now that I just wanted to make one basically for myself and put the songs on there that were meant the most to me, and so that's what we did, and I think that's why there's a lot of ballads on there because I am drawn to ballads so much. I'm drawn to that stuff so much. Just when I listen to music, I want to be affected by the words and the sound, and so that's kind of what we decided to put on there.
Well, that's great, and no doubt you are a very talented songwriter. A lot of your songs have gone on to be recorded by some pretty successful country artists. Do you want to talk a little bit about some of those?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I got my, I live just south of Boston in this town called Stoughton, and I was putting out records, and in 2004 I put out this record called Bitter Town, and Faith Hill got a hold of it, and that's sort of how I ended up in Nashville. I had visited Nashville one other time before that record came out, and then Faith got a hold of that record, and she cut about 4 or 5 of my songs, and threw that to McGraw, cut some songs, and I just had an Alison Krauss cut on Alison Krauss's last record, and so I ended up sort of as like this country music songwriter in a way, because these country artists have cut my songs.
Right.
In Boston we consider it kind of folk music, but the name is one thing, and I don't really worry too much about the names, but I've been very lucky and had, Keith Urban cut a song and Sarah Evans, and I've been really blessed with all that, because it sort of helps me get my music out to more people that wouldn't necessarily know who I was without a big artist like that cutting some of my songs.
Well, absolutely. Now, is there one song that was, maybe the one that you feel most proud of because it went on to be performed by one of these major artists that you've listed? Is there? Can you narrow it down to one?
It's kind of hard to do that because, songs in a way, like I kid with this because it's not really true, but, they're kind of like little babies, and you sort of love them for different reasons and have your issues with them for different other reasons. But the songs that I've had cut, I've been really lucky that I've always really enjoyed the artist's version of the songs, and some of them end up really like quite different. Alison Krauss cut a song that I wrote with Barry Dean and Liz Rose called My Love Follows You Where You Go, and it's about our children like sort of growing up, and she does a very different version of it than I do, and it's just lovely. I've been so blessed to have the songs that I've had cut, the artists that have cut them have just done such a great job that I've been really blessed in that area.
Now, Lori, if people want to find out more information about you, find out where they can purchase a copy of your new album, Lorraine, where can they do that?
I guess the best place would be my website, which is lauriemckenna.com. That would be, a Facebook or one of those things that, I try to keep track of. But yeah, I think that would be the best way, to sort of find out if there are still stores that I think have it here and there, but mostly of course iTunes has it and all that too.
Of course. Well, Lori, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate all of your time, and we wish you all the best of luck in the future.
Thank you so much. You have a great day.